Hi, this is Eric. I'm a IT technician at Avid House. This is going to be a quick video user guide for service providers in Accumedic. The first step to accessing Accumedic is logging in. You should have a Accumedic login shortcut on your desktop. If you don't have one, contact IT at extension 3198 to have one created. You can also look on the user guide, which should be in your email. There should be a link in that email as well, or in that guide. So this is the Accumedic login screen. From here, the account number is entered at the top. It's capital C, capital L, 007014. It's the same for everyone in Avid House. The username is going to be your first initial and your last name. And the password you can get from your supervisor. Just contact your supervisor for your credentials. So this is the main page you see when you log into Accumedic. You're going to see a row of icons at the top. The only two icons that are important are the home icon and the patient icon. The home icon takes you back to the dashboard no matter where you are. The patient icon will allow you to look up a patient in Accumedic. Below that, you're going to see the main dashboard screen. This field here is the schedule field. This is going to show any appointments you have scheduled coming up soon or ones that are overdue. This one is going to show documents. It's going to show any notes or anything that you've been working on recently. The one over here is very important. This is the alerts field. This is going to show you alerts if your supervisor has assigned a new patient to your caseload. You're going to see an alert here pop up. And to open one of these alerts, you just double click the alert and it takes you to this screen here, which is your alert review. It tells you what supervisor sent the alert to you, what patient it's for, and what category or type of alert it is. So you can select this go to button here, and that will automatically take you to the patient's chart without looking up the patient in the patient lookup page. So you just click go to get to the patient's chart. Back in the dashboard, there's also one more field. This is the tasks field. You'll also see sometimes tasks popping up in this field. Those you can be accessed in the same way as alerts. So that's the basic dashboard screen. Now I'll show you how to look up a patient in Accumedic. You select this patient button here at the top. This brings you to the patient lookup screen. There's a few fields here that are important. There's the starting field. Here you'll type any part of the patient's last name, first name, age, date of birth, any sort of information you have, you can type here in the starting field. Then in the fields drop down here, you can select whatever information, you can specify whatever information you entered in the starting box. So for instance, if I was searching for a patient named Test Referral, I could type the patient's first name, Test, select the name option in the drop down box, and then select the Contains button, and that will bring up any patient who has the word Test in their first or last name. In this case, we're looking for Test Referral, which is this patient right here. To select the patient or to open the patient's chart, you can double click on the patient's name. And this brings you to the patient's chart view. The patient's chart looks very similar to the dashboard. However, you can tell you're in a chart and not in the dashboard by looking at the top. You're going to see a patient's name here. Whichever chart you're inside of will appear here, as well as their account number and any other information. You'll also see a blank photo here as well. So if you see any of those two things, you know you're in a patient's chart, not on your dashboard. There's similar boxes just like on the dashboard here. The appointment screen here will show you any appointments that patient has, their whole history of appointments, but just specifically for the patient whose chart you're looking at. Below that, there's all the patient's documents that have been created, their whole history of documents in Accumedic. So now I'll show you how to create a new appointment. To create a new appointment, you're going to click this green plus here on the appointments screen. Click that now. And this takes us to the appointment creation screen. There are a lot of fields in this, but most of the fields are automatically going to be filled out for you. So all you have to fill out are a few fields. The first field is the appointment date. It will default to today, but you can select any date by selecting this little drop down and then going in the calendar and selecting whatever day the appointment needs to be scheduled for. Here you can select the time of the appointment, so you can set whatever time you need the appointment to be scheduled for. If you scroll down, you'll see the patient's insurance information. You can check their insurance information, how many authorizations they have left here. This drop down is the service field box. This will allow you to select what service you're going to provide during the appointment. So for example, let's do CPST individual. Next, you want to select the program the patient is enrolled in. So that will be either Support Services Lower Hudson Valley or New York City, depending on which program you're a part of. So for example, let's select Support Services Lower Hudson Valley. Now the next step is to select the provider. This should already pop up for you. It should put your name in there automatically when you're using the system. But if it doesn't show up, you can always go in the provider list and type your username, and that will bring up your name. Under bill provider, you need to enter the same thing. You have to put your own name there. So just type your username and provider. Under location, you can click the drop down. It's always going to be off-site, so you're just going to hit off-site for location, and bill location is also going to be the same, off-site. And these are all the fields that you need to enter. Everything else is going to be populating from the demographic, so those are the only fields you need to enter to create an appointment. To finish or to finalize the appointment, you have to select save, and then hit OK when this message pops up to schedule the appointment. Now we're back to the patient's chart, and we can see that the new appointment that we've created is right here. This is the most recent appointment at the top. Please double click the appointment to open up a service note at this point. It will pop up with a message asking you if you want to mark the patient as arrived, so you'll click yes after the patient has arrived. This screen is showing the type of form you want to open, so it's showing the program that you entered in the appointment field, as well as the type of note that you want to enter. There's only one choice, so just click go. Now this takes you to the service note. If you scroll down, you're going to see the service note. You can enter any information you need to enter to complete your service note. And then when you're done working and you're finished with the service note, you can sign down here, which will mark it as finalized, and you won't be able to edit it anymore. It will forward it to your supervisor for him or her to sign off on. If you're not complete with the service note, you want to save it and add more later, you can click the save button down here. For now, we're going to click sign. When you click sign, this password screen comes up. You have to type your password in this, the same password that you used to log into Accumedic, and select OK. And that signs the document. And then the document will be red. There'll be a little red circle next to the document like this until your supervisor signs it, at which point it will turn green and the note will be completed. Thank you for watching this quick user guide for Accumedic. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, you can contact your supervisor or you can contact IT at extension 3198. Thank you.